Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we invite you to step beyond the veil of reality and into the shadowy realms of the unknown. Welcome to Whispers in the Dark, a journey into the depths of the human psyche and the mysteries that lie beyond our comprehension. In this series, each tale is a labyrinth of secrets and surprises, a journey not just through space and time, but through the inner corridors of the mind. Here, in the world of Whispers in the Dark, nothing is as it seems. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, the familiar turns alien, and the faint whispers in the dark hold truths more profound than the loudest declarations in the light. Tonight's story, like those that will follow, treads the fine line between the real and the surreal, the tangible and the ethereal. It challenges the boundaries of belief and tests the limits of reality. It's a tale of choices and consequences, of secrets hidden in the shadows, and of the unseen forces that shape our destinies. So, I urge you, dear viewer, to suspend your disbelief and open your mind, for in the world of Whispers in the Dark, the only thing more terrifying than the unknown is the possibility that you might actually find the answers you seek. Prepare to embark on a journey where the darkness whispers and its echoes reveal the mysteries of the universe and the enigmas of the soul. This is Whispers in the Dark. Julia Sanders woke up to the sound of birds chirping and the gentle rays of the morning sun filtering through her bedroom window. It was a beautiful morning, the kind that filled her with a sense of optimism and energy. She stretched, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face, and smiled at the promise of a new day. After her morning routine, Julia, a 32-year-old software developer with a passion for her work, got dressed in her usual business casual attire. She grabbed a quick breakfast, a cup of coffee, and her laptop bag. She locked her apartment, feeling the familiar buzz of anticipation for the day's challenges at the tech company where she worked. The city was already buzzing with activity as she made her way to her car. She started the engine, the familiar hum of the car blending with the sounds of the busy streets. As she drove, Julia's mind wandered to the project she was currently working on, an innovative software that could potentially revolutionize data management. The traffic was heavier than usual, but Julia was used to the bustling city life. She navigated through the streets with practiced ease, her thoughts still partially on her work. She didn't notice the truck that had run a red light, speeding towards her at an alarming rate. In a split second, her world turned upside down. The sound of screeching tires, the shattering of glass, and the violent jolt of the impact jumbled into a terrifying symphony. Time seemed to slow down as her car spun out of control, metal crumpling, airbags deploying with a force that knocked the wind out of her. Then, as quickly as it had begun, it all stopped. The cacophony of the crash gave way to a deafening silence. Julia, dazed and disoriented, struggled to make sense of what had just happened. Her heart raced, her breaths coming in short, panicked gasps. But before she could fully comprehend her situation, darkness enveloped her, pulling her into an unconscious abyss. When Julia next opened her eyes, the scene before her was vastly different from the chaotic streets of the city. She found herself in a room that defied description. The walls shimmered and shifted as if made of some ethereal substance, and a soft, otherworldly light filled the space. In the room were 5 individuals, each engaged in what appeared to be a deep and thoughtful conversation. They turned to look at her as she regained consciousness, their faces a mix of curiosity and welcome. Julia, still reeling from the accident and now the surreal environment she found herself in, tried to speak but could only manage a hoarse whisper. Her mind raced with questions. Where was she? Who were these people? Was this a dream, or had the accident led her to some unknown place? As she struggled to sit up, one of the individuals, a distinguished-looking man in his late 50s, approached her with a reassuring smile. "Welcome, Julia. We've been expecting you," he said, his voice calm and soothing. Julia looked at him, her confusion mounting. Expecting her? How did they know her name? What was this place? The man introduced himself as Dr. Marcus Layton and gestured to the others in the room. "You're in a safe place," he continued. "We are here to discuss something of great importance, the nature of existence and the meaning of life." Julia, despite her confusion and the lingering fear from the accident, felt an inexplicable sense of calmness wash over her. There was something about Dr. Layton's demeanor, and the serene atmosphere of the room that eased her anxiety. As she settled into the conversation, still unsure of how and why she was there, Julia realized that she had become part of a gathering that would challenge her perceptions and beliefs in ways she never imagined. Her journey into the depths of existential thought had just begun, in a room that existed somewhere between reality and the unknown. As Julia sat, still trying to grasp the surreal situation she found herself in, Dr. Marcus Layton gestured towards the others in the room, each ready to introduce themselves. First was Sophia Zhang, a 40-year-old quantum physicist with an animated and passionate demeanor. "I'm here because I believe that understanding the universe at its most fundamental level changes our perspective on existence," she explained, her eyes sparkling with the enthusiasm of someone who had spent years unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. Next to speak was Elijah Brooks, a 70-year-old poet and novelist. His voice was rich and resonant, reflecting the depth of his experience. "I've spent my life exploring the human condition through words," he said, "and I'm here to discuss how art and literature shape our understanding of what it means to be alive." Nina Patel, a 28-year-old humanitarian worker, introduced herself with a warm smile. "My work in conflict zones has shown me the resilience and complexity of human life," she shared. "I hope to bring a perspective on how our existence is intertwined with the suffering and joy of others." Aidan Kessler, a 45-year-old tech entrepreneur with a keen analytical gaze, was the last to speak. "Technology has the power to redefine our existence," he said. "I'm here to explore how our creations influence our understanding of life and what it means to be human." Dr. Layton then turned to Julia. "And you, Julia, are here because of your unique experience. Your accident has brought you to the edge of life and death, a place where many find the deepest insights about existence." Julia listened intently, each introduction providing a piece to the puzzle of her unexpected presence in this mysterious gathering. "So, we're here to discuss life? Why me?" she asked, her voice a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Dr. Layton nodded solemnly. "Each of us brings a distinct perspective, shaped by our experiences and knowledge. Your brush with mortality has opened a door to questions that many spend lifetimes pondering. Together, we hope to delve into these questions and perhaps find some answers." As the introductions concluded, the group settled into a deep discussion. Topics ranged from the scientific to the philosophical, from the nature of consciousness to the role of technology in shaping human destiny. Julia found herself both challenged and intrigued by the ideas shared, each member of the group contributing their unique insights. The conversation flowed seamlessly, touching upon the interconnectedness of all life, the impact of human actions on the world, and the ever-evolving nature of human understanding. Julia, still reeling from her accident, began to see her experience in a new light, not just as a brush with death, but as a gateway to a deeper understanding of her own existence. In this room, somewhere between the tangible and the ethereal, Julia found herself part of a profound exploration into the essence of life. It was a journey that promised to change her perspective on the world and her place in it. In the vast expanse of existence, where the lines between reality and the unknown blur, lies the realm of profound inquiry. Tonight, we delve into the story of Julia Sanders, a woman whose brush with mortality has catapulted her into a realm beyond the ordinary, a realm where questions about life and existence take center stage. Julia, a software developer by trade, finds herself in the company of 5 extraordinary individuals, each a master of their respective fields. In this place, removed from the bounds of time and space, they embark on an intellectual odyssey, a journey to unravel the tapestry of life. Dr. Marcus Layton, a philosopher whose life's work revolves around existentialism, steers the discussion towards the fundamental questions of being and purpose. Sophia Zhang, with her insights into quantum physics, challenges the group's understanding of reality, suggesting that existence is far more complex than it appears. Elijah Brooks, the poet, weaves the beauty of language into the conversation, reminding all that life is as much about emotion and experience as it is about understanding. Nina Patel brings a human touch to the discourse, her experiences in war-torn areas providing a stark reminder of the fragility and resilience of life. And then there's Aidan Kessler, the tech entrepreneur whose vision of the future is shaped by the possibilities of technology. He posits that human existence is on the cusp of a new era, one where the lines between man and machine blur. But it is Julia, the unexpected member of this assembly, who embodies the most poignant aspect of this gathering. Her recent escape from the clutches of death has given her a unique perspective on life. In this room, her thoughts and experiences become a crucial part of a larger conversation about what it means to be alive. As the discussion in the room unfolds, Julia and her companions delve deeper into the mysteries of existence. They explore the paradoxes of life, the interplay between fate and free will, and the eternal quest for meaning in a world that is often inexplicable. In this extraordinary gathering, Julia Sanders finds not just answers, but more importantly, questions that provoke thought, challenge beliefs, and open new vistas of understanding. For in the realm of the unknown, it is the questions we ask that illuminate the paths we take. Join us as we continue to follow Julia's journey through this otherworldly symposium, a journey that is as much about the mysteries of life as it is about the discovery of oneself in the whispers of the unknown. Julia, still grappling with the surreal nature of her surroundings, found her voice amidst the intellectual giants. "You know," she began, her voice tinged with a mixture of reflection and emotion, "before the accident, my life was about deadlines, meetings, and endless coding. But lying there in those fleeting moments between life and death, none of that mattered." The group leaned in, their expressions a blend of curiosity and empathy. Julia continued, her words flowing more freely now. "What flashed before my eyes weren't the achievements or accolades. It was my family, my friends, the people I love. It was the memories we made, the moments of joy and sorrow we shared. In the end, it's those connections, those emotions that define our existence." Dr. Layton nodded thoughtfully. "So, you're suggesting that the essence of life is found in our relationships, in the emotional bonds we forge?" Julia nodded. "Exactly. It's the feelings and emotions connected to everything around us that evoke the joy of life. The laughter shared with a friend, the warmth of a hug, the tears shed in sorrow or in joy. That's what makes life worth living. That's what gives it meaning." Sophia Zhang chimed in, her scientific mind finding resonance in Julia's words. "It's fascinating when you think about it. Even in the realm of quantum physics, it's the connections, the entanglements, that give rise to the complexities of the universe." Elijah Brooks, the poet, smiled warmly at Julia. "Ah, the human heart always finds its way into the depths of our discussions. It is the heart, with its capacity to love and to grieve, that truly teaches us what it means to be alive." Nina Patel's voice was soft but firm. "And it's those feelings that drive us to make the world a better place, to alleviate pain, to spread joy. Our emotions are the catalysts for change, both within and around us." Aidan Kessler looked contemplative. "You make a compelling point, Julia. In a world where we often chase after material success, it's important to remember that technology, progress, it all means nothing without the human element, without the feelings that give us purpose." Julia listened to their responses, feeling a sense of belonging and understanding she hadn't expected. Here, in this strange gathering, she found a group of people who, despite their varied backgrounds and beliefs, shared her appreciation for the fundamental aspects of human life: love, connection, and emotion. As the conversation continued, Julia felt a transformation within herself. Her brush with death had brought her here to this moment, where she was not just a participant in a discussion about life, but also a living testament to what makes life precious. In this room, somewhere between reality and the unknown, Julia found not only a deeper understanding of existence, but also a renewed appreciation for the life she had been given a second chance to live. The conversation in the ethereal room, rich with perspectives and insights, seemed to reach a natural conclusion, a moment of collective understanding and acceptance. The group, once strangers bound by circumstance, now shared a profound connection, woven through their exploration of life's deepest questions. Dr. Layton, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of years spent pondering existential mysteries, addressed the group. "I believe we've all gained something invaluable from this discourse. Perhaps it's time for some of us to return, to take what we've learned back to our lives." The others nodded in agreement, each person reflecting on their journey in this surreal assembly. Then, all eyes turned to Julia, the unspoken question hanging in the air. She paused, taking a deep breath, feeling a sense of completeness, a readiness to return to the world she knew. "I am ready," Julia said with a newfound conviction. "It's time for me to go back." No sooner had the words left her lips than a bright light enveloped her. It was warm and comforting, a luminescent embrace that seemed to cradle her very essence. In an instant, the room and its occupants faded away, and Julia found herself transported to a different place entirely. She awoke lying in a field of sunflowers, their vibrant yellow petals swaying gently in the breeze under a clear blue sky. Above her loomed a familiar face, filled with concern and love. It was her husband looking down at her with a mix of disbelief and relief. "Julia!" he exclaimed, his voice breaking with emotion as he called for help. Soon, EMTs arrived, rushing to Julia's side, their expressions a mixture of urgency and confusion. As they examined her, they found, to their astonishment, that she was unharmed, not a scratch, not a bruise, despite the severity of the car accident they had been called to. "How is this possible?" her husband asked, his voice a mix of awe and bewilderment. Julia, still absorbing the reality of being back, looked up at him and simply said, "Don't ask, I'm here now." As the EMTs helped her to her feet, declaring her condition a miracle, Julia took a moment to take in her surroundings. The sunflowers around her seemed more vivid than ever, the sky a deeper shade of blue, and the air filled with the sweet scent of life. Everything felt more intense, more real. As she walked away from the field, supported by her husband, Julia carried with her the memories of her extraordinary journey, the discussions about life, the insights gained, and the realization of what truly mattered. Her experience in that mysterious room had not only given her a second chance at life, but had also transformed her understanding of existence. Julia knew that her story, incredible and unbelievable as it was hers alone to treasure. In her heart, she held the lessons learned from that otherworldly symposium, ready to embrace life with a new appreciation for the simple yet profound joys of love, connection, and existence. And so Julia Sanders, once a mere participant in life, became a testament to the wonder and mystery of existence, a living reminder of the miraculous tapestry of life that weaves through each of us. Julia and her husband, still enveloped in a mix of shock and relief, made their way to the hospital. The car ride was quiet, filled with unspoken questions and a sense of wonder. Julia gazed out the window, the world outside seeming more vibrant and alive than ever before. Her mind replayed the events in the mysterious room, each conversation, each face, etched vividly in her memory. Upon reaching the hospital, Julia underwent a series of X-rays and examinations. The doctors were baffled. There was no evidence of injury, no sign that she had been in a severe car accident only hours before. Her husband sat by her side, holding her hand, his eyes reflecting the marvel of her unscathed condition. As the medical team conferred, discussing the miraculous nature of her survival, the scene subtly shifted, taking us back to the enigmatic room where Julia's incredible journey had begun. The room, having just witnessed the departure of Julia, seemed to be waiting, its walls shimmering gently as if in anticipation of what was to come. Suddenly, the calm atmosphere was interrupted by the appearance of a new individual, a man in his 40s, dressed in work clothes, materialized seemingly out of nowhere. He looked around in confusion, his expression a mix of fear and disbelief. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice tinged with panic. He looked at the others, his eyes searching for an explanation. The man explained that he had fallen off a truck, the last thing he remembered before finding himself in this strange new environment. The group at the table exchanged knowing glances, each understanding the significance of the man's arrival. They had all experienced similar moments of shock and disbelief upon their own arrivals. Dr. Layton, ever the composed philosopher, addressed the newcomer. You are in a place where the boundaries of life and understanding blur. We are here to explore the depths of existence, to discuss and to understand the meaning of life. The man looked around, taking in the faces of those seated at the table, the physicist, the poet, the humanitarian, the entrepreneur, and the philosopher. Slowly, the realization dawned on him that he had become part of something far beyond his normal comprehension. As the group welcomed him and began to introduce themselves, the scene faded to black, leaving the audience with a sense of continuity in the extraordinary journey of understanding and discovery. And so, the cycle continues, each individual brought to this room at a pivotal moment in their life. Here in the whispers of the unknown, they embark on a journey of existential exploration, a journey that transcends the confines of their ordinary existence. The room, a nexus between life and understanding, continues to be a gathering place for souls seeking answers to the age-old questions of existence. And as each new individual crosses its threshold, the tapestry of this extraordinary narrative grows ever more intricate. In the vastness of life's mystery, the room stands as a beacon, a place where the boundaries of reality are stretched and the essence of existence is contemplated in the never-ending dance of the unknown.